フルカウンター。
Alright boys, so Gelda is probably one of the biggest characters next to come to Grand Cross, mainly because she is quite an important character in story mode, but also has a lot going for her, which we're going to go through in a second. But she recently just appeared in story mode, which likely means she will now come into Grand Cross at some point in the future. So today what we're going to do, it like we've done in the past with many other characters, we are going to go through and go over how the character will actually play in Grand Cross, and do some predictions, and my opinion is a highly working game. But before we start, what we're going to do right now is go through my last video, which was Mael, where I did talk about the character and how we were playing Grand Cross. So let's see how right I was. Alright, so the first skill I predicted was going to be Helios Fair. We did not actually get that skill, but I did think it might have been an AoE skill, which is kind of what we got here. Now, granted, it's not the same thing. He actually doesn't really do this in the series. They kind of made it up, right? But what do you expect? The character literally only used 3 moves, right? And the one I did get correct was obviously this one, because this is the only other move that he did do. And to be fair, quite a prominent one. He literally used it against Zelda, so that was obviously a given. And of course, the last one, this is a given as well. Rising Sun, I'm surprised he called it that, not the Greatest Sun, because that's what the move is called. But yeah, I mean, it's literally the move he did in the actual anime. This was the obvious one, so this Mael was very, very easy, where now we're going to go over Gelda, and Gelda is definitely more tricky, but there are a few moves that she does do, and we're going to go over now, so let's just jump into it. Alright, so before we start, what I want to do is talk about her actual race, right? It's kind of important. Obviously, we know she's a vampire, however, will she actually be a vampire in game? I think so. I think it's a given the character has to be a vampire, because it'd be pretty weird to make her unknown. But then we know she's a vampire, right? It doesn't really make too much sense. Obviously, the character is very, very prominent about who she actually is, and obviously she's a vampire. Where if you look towards someone like Nanashi, for example, which you can see right now is obviously unknown, despite him being a goddess. However, he's kind of like forgotten it and hidden it, so we don't really to know that he is a goddess. So it makes sense towards him. Where obviously I think someone like Gelda needs to be a vampire. But the problem is, right, we have no vampires in the game. Now, it is likely that we are going to be getting 2 more vampires in the future once they actually make it to the vampire arc, if they ever start adapting that into Grand Cross. We have seen the beta that they are planning to do it, so we could possibly get up to 3 vampires, enough to make 1 team. But do we really want that? I think if Gelda does come out, she should be a vampire, but also work on the unknown team. Because obviously right now, unless you're Ultimate Escanor, because you're that broken, most of the meta and the way the game's been going is you're using 4 mono races. So 4 unknowns, 4 humans, 4 goddesses, 4 demons, for example. So she comes out and she's her own race. Also, I'm a bit biased. I want it to be unknown because I actually do like the character. And right now, I'm obviously an unknown main. And if she comes out, the amount of support that she's going to have would be unreal. The Nanashi buffs, Echidna, using with Infinity Merlin, it'll be so sick. So I really hope she does come out and she is an unknown character. But maybe get some more buffs later on to get more vampires to buff her up, right? Alright, so let's talk about the actual skills for the character. Now, she actually only does 1 move in the whole series. Literally, I don't know if you want to even call it a move, right? But she does 1 move, 1 from the movies. So at least we do actually have 2 skills that we can go off on. So the first skill is a simple bite. I mean, she's a vampire, right? Now, I'm not entirely too sure how they're going to do it in the actual game, because you can't actually go behind the character and bite them. You can't really touch the character in a way. So I'm not too sure if she's going to do it in game. But since she is a vampire, 1 move you expect to give her is probably a single target, scratch, bite, something like that, to apply a debuff. Now, she does do this towards Demon King Zelda's to bind him, so obviously she can go inside his blood or inside his mind to obviously help out Zelda's, but that could be a way of actually doing a debuff. So I do think if she does come to the game, she'll have a single target debuff. Now, I'd hope it's something new, something a bit broken, but if she does come out with a single target block skill, like how we have Chandler, I guess, or obviously Slade Study will have the single target debuff skill, and I wouldn't mind it, because obviously you gotta remember, if she is coming out and she is unknown, she likely will probably replace someone like Gopher on the unknown team. So I guess having a disabled Margaret would actually be a good thing, and a single target debuff skill, not too bad. The next skill she does use is Ash does Burial, which is a massive AoE, something similar to as Lolly Merlin's actual AoE skill. And once again, if she is on the unknown team or does work on the unknown team, then having an AoE skill to work with obviously Infinity Merlin will actually be a really, really good skill. Now, one thing I like to do for this skill is to be some sort of mix between a skill that we already have in game and another skill we have in game. Now, granted, it's not a festival character, but it's an important character. To be fair, it might even be a seasonal character just so they can kind of milk her a little bit more and not make her a standard SSR feature. But if you look at obviously like someone like Purgatory Mediolis, you've got Frenzy, which is basically Pierce and also kind of like Flood in a way, right? Or Reverse Flood, but it's kind of got two skills in one. So I hope if she does come out, she'll have some sort of lifesteal skill. But as we've seen so far, lifesteal cards are terrible because you think about it, a lot of characters nowadays have so much lifesteal to begin with that all of their cards are basically lifesteal. So mix 2 skills together, give her lifesteal, maybe apply a debuff so she got double debuffs and can't be attack sealed, give her something like lifesteal plus 7 so she's getting crazy crits, something like Echidna, but then also always get lifesteal too. But what I will also say is that this move could easily be an ultimate move too, because afterwards we do see obviously Zelda's do a little combined attack here, which it's coping right now to think this, but we haven't gotten combined attack since I think Rimuru came out like 3 years ago and started JP. So if this new character came out and has a combined attack with Zelda's, it would be pretty sick. Once again, wishful thinking, but this easily could be an ultimate move, an AoE ultimate move. But I think because Sineshi is a vampire, I think we could get a bit more cinematic and do something more vampire related, like, you know, biting someone, you know, doing actual new different camera angles that you can't typically do on a normal PvP match. So the ultimate, I guess I'm gonna leave it up to you lot. We don't actually know what it could be. Once again, if anything, I'm hoping it's Expel. Expel is such a broken ultimate that no other character in the game has gotten, and I think if she comes out once again, she could easily have it. I can see her not having it, but she can have it. But if she does have the Expel ultimate, it'd be a good way to milk people because she will actually need to be 6'6" to get a 2-turn Expel, and it'd be something worth actually chasing. That's something I hope for. Once again, I don't know what the ultimate could be. Maybe something where she flies in the sky and does a massive nuke, basically. Actually, now that I'm thinking more about it, if we look at the first skill that I said, where he does actually bite Demon King Zelda's and it kind of binds him and kind of goes into his mind, you can kind of imagine that being Expel in a way, right? Where she goes into the mind and then she does like a massive like AoE burst, and then after the cinematic ends, the character's been expelled because their mind's been messed up so much, basically. So I can see it happening. Once again, I just want to throw that out there because I want Expel to come back to the game because I want a cool character to have it. It's such a good OP skill to have, and we've yet to see a good character have it. So it might be a bit scary when it happens, though. Alright, so for the passive, I thought it was kind of a unique one, and someone left a comment that was very similar to what I thought of, so we're going to go through that in a second. But in the actual anime, she does get her head ripped off by Demon King Zelda's, and this was obviously a big thing, and she survived it, so that could be the actual passive, where she can't actually die, and a revive, right, it's scary, but if the character is able to die, but then stay at 1 HP for one whole turn, or until the turn ends, so she can't literally die, and at the start of the next turn, she would then stay at 1 HP, but because what I said early on, she might have an AoE lifesteal card, she'll be able to full heal from 1 HP. But once the revive is gone, then you can kill her. But that would be kind of a broken skill, and something I can see him doing in a way, because I said, the revive was so important towards the character, and kind of the only thing she actually does, so I can definitely see Netmob implementing it into the game. Alright, so on screen now is a comment someone left on my yesterday video when I was mentioned that I was making this video today, and I agree with a lot of it. Actually, to be fair, I wouldn't mind it. Maybe not the second skill because Extort doesn't work against goddesses, but I want to go towards the passive, and it's very similar to what I thought. And once again, the fact that me and him have also thought about it is clear indication that it's not possible, but it could be likely that this happens because the character's whole almost identity in a way, the only thing she does in this series is basically die and come back to life, right? So as you can see, he does say when the hero's HP falls below 0 from 50% or more due to enemy skill, the hero will revive at 100% HP. There's more to it though. As you can see, he does get more base stats for more life still. I actually wouldn't mind his passive. I do want the character to have like some sort of revive, but also have a good passive along with it, whether that be base stats, because if she gets base stats, it's gonna be insane for the unknown team because she already has so much with the unknown buffs, and there'd be so much going on with her. Once again, the skills might be a bit lackluster, so but I do think the fact that 2 of us thought of that the passive about reviving is a clear indication that she actually could have won it. So we have to wait and see. The next thing I want to show you lot, and this was from the beta app like 2 years ago now, or like even a year ago, very, very old. And once again, the beta app is not guaranteed information, but it does tell us what Netmarble are thinking at the time in a way. And as you can see right now, all the vampires are planned to be unknown. So that's once again one thing I hope does come true, or at least they work on the unknown team, because I really want them to have a lot of support, because the vampire race ain't going to have it. I mean, literally, like I said already, there's been one vampire, and we've seen with King and the Giants, they just don't get support despite them having quite a few fairies and Giants. So the fact that the vampires are even less in quantity, then I just don't see it. But as you can see, at one point he actually planned her to be a festival character, which once again I don't see happening, because at this point there's way too many high festival characters to come to the game, like obviously Chaos Arthur, so many Demon King videos and Zeldra's they can do, new Kings, new Gophers, new Dians. We don't really have time to give Gelda an actual festival character, but that's something that they might throw at us, but I don't think so. And then lastly, we're going to go through the beta app leak for Gelda. I don't know if I'm leaking this. It's been out for a while. I've seen this circulate on Reddit things, so people have seen it. But if you haven't, this is something that Netmo will plan for Gelda, and maybe I'm leaking this, but sorry if I am, but like it's probably not going to come true, which is why I'm covering it, because at the bottom it did say Mael for New Year's. We didn't get that right, so this is probably not going to come true, but this is something that Netmo planned, and a good look into what they're trying to do with Gelda in a way, right? So first skill is single target pierce damage. Fair enough. I do think the character should have a good single target damage skill, so I wouldn't mind that. Or maybe weak point though. I think I'm definitely leaning towards more weak point, because that is weak point's always a good skill to have. Why not, right? So for the unknown team 2, it'll be perfect. Alright, the second skill, what apparently it said it does here, is a single target applies a new debuff called Blood Absorption. Now, bear in mind, this is obviously not going to happen here, but this is called at the even fourth new actual skill effect is. So you never know, maybe the skill comes true in the future, which apparently at the end of the turn, it steals 10 to 20 to 50% of max HP. Wouldn't mind that. I mean, if you still max HP, that means you lower theirs and increase your own. That'd be pretty good, I think, but then it wouldn't really work too well on the Goddess team, and wouldn't be that good on the unknown team, because not having an AoE skill is really going to hurt Infinity Merlin, so I don't really see this happening. I really hope she does come up with an AoE skill, like the Ashtar's Burial that I talked about early on. The ultimate apparently damages and applies a new debuff called Blood Revenge. Changes dependent on the ultimate, obviously just kind of standing in Grand Cross, and apparently that deals additional damage equal to stolen HP. So I guess you want to steal HP of characters, increase your own max HP, and then depending on how much HP you increase, you then do more damage. Honestly, that would be pretty cool actually. I kind of like that. Once again, I think this is not going to come true, but this is something that Netmobile thought of, and it's kind of unique in a way, so I kind of like this. The passive is increasing the basic stats of the hero by 5% each time the hero life steals. Kind of bad if I'm being honest with you lot. 25% base stats, I mean, it's not bad, but you kind of want to get something more. If the character also revived or just stayed at 1 HP for 1 turn, that'd be pretty good. I actually wouldn't mind that, but I think they need a little bit more to that passive to make it more usable. But yeah, boys, that's going to wrap up today's video. To quickly recap what we just spoke about, because you want to skip to the end here, the first skill will likely be some sort of single target bite or scratch, something vampire related, that hopefully will be some sort of debuff or a strong debuff, or either a really strong single target skill. The next skill will be Ashtar's Burial, the move that she does use in Cursed by Light, and this will most likely be some sort of life steal, some sort of actual skill to help her out. Hopefully some sort of new skill, because we need something more unique for her, because she is a vampire, and this could easily be her ultimate move. However, I feel like the ultimate move might be something more vampire related, and something that we saw in the actual anime, where she does enter the mind after biting them. And I can definitely see and also want this ultimate to be some sort of expel, because we need someone else in the game to have expel, an actual good character. And of course the passive, although I can't say exactly what it's going to be, the character is kind of known for reviving because her head got ripped off, so I think Netmarble might play around it here and give us some sort of revive gimmick, whether she just gets a guaranteed revive, kind of like how Nafumi does, or if she stays invincible for 1 turn and it heals the next turn, who knows. But boys, that is Gelda in Grand Cross. She could be the next character coming to Grand Cross this Wednesday, but it could also be Neobasta and maybe some more Goddess support. But now that Gelda's now in story mode, she literally could come anytime soon. I hope it does happen sooner than later, because I actually want to get her, and hopefully she's unknown, because I want to use her on the unknown team. So boys, thank you for watching. Let me know what you think, and yeah, peace.